Hey everyone, Richard Razor Sharp here, and today got another kind of little tutorial video for you on zero gapping. So today I'm going to show you how to zero gap the Wahl Detailer Li trimmer, which is a very popular trimmer still for not only barbers but people who do home cuts, maybe just get it for balding off their head or doing their beard trim or their own shape up. So I've had this trimmer for a number of years, very trusty, very good. I'm now changing the blade, so I've got the standard Wahl 5-star blade on it, but I did have a 5-star T-wide blade, which I never really used, but I'm actually now going to put on it. I used it briefly, but not for a long period of time. But I've decided I want to go back to it, so I'm going to change it out. And in the process of changing it out, I'm also going to zero gap the trimmer and show you how to do that. So I hope you find this useful. So first thing we need to do is get off the actual outer blade itself. So simply to do that, just need to take out these two screws and the blade should just lift off. Okay, now I will give you some tips and tricks in regards to zero gapping along the way, so that it will hopefully help you to do a great job of zero gapping your own trimmers if you've never done this before. Okay, so got those two screws out. Pull out the T-wide blade that's now going to go on. So firstly, let me give the blade a little bit of a clean. Still got a bit of debris on it, so just you could use any kind of brush, quite medium to firm brush, just to brush away any hair and excess debris. And then after we've zero gapped it, we will need to then use the oil to re-oil the blades. Okay, so all debris has been removed from the outer blade and the inner blade. Now let's just explain the structure of the Wahl setup to their blades. So this is the underside of the outer blade, and as you can see, you've got this thick groove here in the middle. Now you have the cutting blade here. Just try and show this to you. There you go. So you've got the cutting blade here, and if I flip it over, you've got this piece of material, plastic-like material, that will sit in the groove of the outer blade. So I'm just trying to get it in focus for you. So it will sit in that groove. Okay, so when you flip this over, it now just slots into that groove, just clicked in, you might have just heard it. And so now it will allow the blade to move from side to side, the cutting blade, to cut people's hair. Okay, so now when it comes to zero gapping this blade, it's pretty straightforward, but can be a little bit finicky. So I'll show you how to do it. You need a smaller screwdriver. You can either use a flat end head screwdriver or a Phillips screwdriver. I've got a small Phillips screwdriver here, and what you need to do, just try and get this in close enough that you can see. Okay, you're going to need to loosen these two screws here. Now you don't want to remove them, you just want to loosen them. Okay, so I'll try and do this now. Okay, I actually might need to get a flathead screwdriver to do this because this isn't small enough. Okay, so I actually was able to loosen those two screws with this Phillips screwdriver. Just needed a little bit of elbow grease. I think where I haven't used this blade for so long, just got a bit stiff. So just with a little bit of oil, I was able just to loosen them. So all you need to do is loosen these two screws here. And then with them loosened, what you will then be able to do, so let me just push that back in place. What you will then be able to do is adjust the position of the blade, so you can move it backwards and it will slide backwards, or you can slide it forward as well. Now, the key bit to zero gapping is you do not want the cutting blade to protrude or go over the outer blade. So at the moment I can see the cutting blade is too far, is in front of the outer blade. Now here's one of my tips and tricks to zero gapping. If you have a smartphone, I'm using an iPhone, there's an app on the iPhone called Magnifier. So you could even use a magnifying glass if you want, but this app simply allows you, it magnifies whatever is placed underneath it. So you can see on your screen, now with me looking directly at my phone, it looks significantly closer than what you may see on your display, but I can clearly see that the cutting blade at the moment is over the outer blade, so that's not where I want it to be. So what I will do is just do a readjustment, and I will push the blade back. Now, one thing to mention with the Wahl Detailer, it's still got quite a powerful motor, so I don't zero gap my blades to the point where it is literally completely flush with the outer blade. I like it just a little step back, and then that for me is perfect. Now this can be a little bit fiddly, and it takes a bit of getting used to, but what I will do is I'll slightly tighten now the screws, not completely tight, just so I can have a look and see, do I have it where I want it to be in terms of the cutting blade. I feel like I'm almost there. I'm in a pretty good place. Might just try and nudge it forward just ever so slightly. I think I need to loosen these two screws again, just ever so slightly, just a little touch, just to give me a little bit of play with the cutting blade so I can move it forward ever so slightly. Okay, now that is where I want it to be. So I'm now going to tighten that more. Okay. All right, this is looking better to me. So I'm now going to, oh, there's one side which actually, the right side actually looks a little bit further back than the left side. So I'm just going to try and adjust that side ever so slightly. Okay, that's better. Okay. Okay, that's looking good to me. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this well enough on your screen, but the blade is sitting just behind the outer blade. The cutting blade is sitting just behind the outer blade, which is what I want. So if I turn it over this way once again, I can't see the cutting blade protruding over. And then just as another final check, I'll get my iPhone, and I will just check to see where the blade sits. And what I do is I like to tilt the blade to the side slightly, so it allows me to really see how is the blade sitting, the cutting blade sitting along the outer blade. Is it flush? Is it just behind where I want it to be? Okay, so I'm happy with how I've done this. So now what I want to do, the first thing I'll do is I'll actually use a bit of disinfectant spray. So I'll just give it a quick spray with some Clipper disinfectant spray, and I'll let that sit just for a minute, just on some tissue. Okay, just let that sit there for a minute, just to disinfect the blade. And then what I will do is I will put some oil on the blade, re-oil it, and then I'll test it to see have I done it well enough in terms of that it's not too sharp that it will cut people, but it's also not too far back that it won't deliver really crisp and sharp lines. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just draft the excess, and now I'll use some oil. Now, some people often ask, do you still need to use oil after you've used a clipper spray? Yes, you do. Even though the clipper sprays do advertise that they lubricate the blades, it's not sufficient enough in terms of the amount of lubrication needed to keep the blade running smooth and well. Okay, so I've just added a bit more extra oil to the blade. What you'll find is when you buy a blade fresh, if you ever buy a replacement blade, you'll see that it's very oily when it comes out of the packaging. That's how much oil they put on it to ensure that it's running well. Now what I'm just going to do is just do a little bit of cleaning off. Got some debris where this trimmer gets a lot of use from me. Got some hair debris under there, so I just clean that out. Okay, it's all good. All right, so now I just want to reattach this outer blade. I've got this in position properly, and there we go. Sorry guys, just having a few difficulties getting this screw back in, but we shall get there. Okay, excellent. All right, so now I've got the blade back in. I want to test to see if I've done a good job of, got the screw back in. I want to test. Okay guys, so now that I've got the screws back in, I now want to test if I've done a good job of zero gapping this blade. Now what I'll do is just wipe off a little bit of the excess oil, because I did add quite a bit of oil to the blade where it's not been used for quite a while. So most people will generally, when they test a blade, they will test it on the back part of their hand, see how it feels. Okay. But actually the best place to test is actually on the inside of your arm, as the skin's more sensitive there, so you'll know if you've made it too sharp. Now that feels just about right for me. Okay, maybe actually could go back a little bit, but it is, yeah, it's cutting really sharp, as you can probably see. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. If anything, I could touch the blade back just a touch. Not that it's protruding over the outer blade, but because this is a more powerful motor, if you have the blades completely flush, it will be very sharp and it can cut people. I might say, if I was using this on a child, the way I've set it here would probably be a bit too sharp, but with an adult it would be okay. So what I might do is just move it back a touch, just to have it set up so it could just work well for everyone, for children and for adults. But guys, that's it. That is how you zero gap a Wahl Detailer Li. Hope you find it useful, and please like, leave your comments, subscribe. Till next time guys, take care. Peace.